Hi, my name is Miss Benson. Over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to talk you through the A-Level Geography course. If you're interested in the world around you, geography is an excellent choice for A-Level. The AS course is divided into 2 units, physical, changing landscapes, and human, changing places.
Hi and welcome to AS Physical Geography. This is Unit 1, Changing Landscapes. Within this unit, we look at 2 topics, the first of which is glaciation. Within the glaciation topic, we look at how glacial environments have been created and the processes involved. This also involves looking at the landforms that are created, many of which are around today, including U-shaped valleys and cones. One of the other elements is looking at the impact that climate change is having on glaciers, including natural climate change and human climate change, so looking at how ice has changed from the past to the present day. We also look at the impact we're having currently on glacial environments linked to things like avalanches and also glacial lake outburst floods. The second part of our Unit 1 is tectonic hazards. Within this topic, we'll focus on volcanoes, earthquakes, the processes that cause them, the hazards they create, and also the impacts of them. This will also involve looking at human factors that can affect the risk that a place suffers. This could be linked to development factors or population density, for example. The final section here is looking at the responses to tectonic hazards. How can we manage these hazards to ensure that less lives are lost and lessons are learned into the future?
The human part of the course focuses on changing places. This looks at how areas around the UK, urban and rural areas, have changed really over the last 30 years. So we focus on different case studies. We look at Liverpool, the impacts of regeneration on the waterfront, how successful it's been in terms of improving its economy and the environment. But you don't have to go too far from this area to see a very different side of Liverpool. We look at Liverpool 1, how the city is being marketed to attract tourists, but also to attract industries. We also look at more local examples. So we look at Chester, we look at Story House as a really good example of cultural regeneration and what change that has led to. We also look at rural areas. So we look at Cheshire Ice Cream Farm, the area around Tattenhall. The impacts of regeneration there has been quite divisive in the community. We look at areas around Flintshire, issues of counter-urbanisation and how local communities have changed. We also look at examples in North Wales, such as adrenaline sports, so Surf Snowdonia and Zip World. It's a really good example of how North Wales is being marketed to attract visitors. We look at the issues this has for the economy and also the future. Fieldwork is a really important part of the AS course. So you do a physical geography fieldwork. Here's some pictures. You can see our physical geography trip here was looking at glacial deposition in Thurston. Human geography trips, we tend to vary it. So you can see we went to Chester to look at impacts of cultural regeneration, impacts of waterfront regeneration in Liverpool, and we've also looked at the ice cream farm in Cheshire. The A2 geography course is divided into 3 units. Global system, it's all very global actually. Unit 3, global systems, governance. Unit 4 is contemporary themes, that's an essay-based exam paper, and Unit 5 is coursework. Unit 3, the physical geography, focuses on the water and carbon cycles. So we look at things like the importance of the rainforest to the global carbon cycle. We look at rivers, the impacts of flooding. We look at the difference between stores and transfers between the water and the carbon cycle. So it's very much based on the global environment, but also impacts to the local scale too. We look at global governance. We look at UN law and how it is applied for issues like migration. We look at the difference between economic migrants and refugees, conflicts that are causing people to move, but also environmental reasons such as drought. We also look at management on the national scale, and we look at different laws and humanitarian issues associated with refugees and asylum seekers. We look at the global governance of the Earth's oceans. So again, we look at UN law. This is a really interesting one. It's possibly my favourite part of the course because of the amount of conflict at sea. For example, China are building islands in the South China Sea. There's a problem with pirates, modern day pirates around Indonesia and the Philippines due to this tiny little stretch of water these big ships have to travel through. We look at international crime, drugs, people smuggling. It's all very relevant to what's going on today, and it changes all the time. Geography is a very dynamic subject. So if you're interested in what is going on in the world today, this is a perfect course for you. This is examined through structured questions, and also there's small essay questions on this paper too. You've got to appreciate the grey area. This area of geography isn't black and white. There's a lot of conflict and debate about how it's best to manage these issues. Unit 4 is an essay-based paper. I teach the section about China, which I find incredibly interesting because it changes every year. So at the moment in China, you've probably heard issues about the re-education camps, very relevant to this part of the course. We look at how China has become the factory of the world, but also how the industry there has changed massively over the last few years. And there's huge amounts of inequality within the country. We look at environmental issues like pollution on the local and the global scale too. We also look at the significance of trade and how China is working with different countries around the world.
At A2 Physical Geography, we cover a unit called Contemporary Themes. Within this unit, we look at tectonic hazards again. This follows straight on from the AS unit of work, which has already been completed, so all of that work is still needed and used as we move into the A2 essay-based tasks. However, we should also notice here that they add in a few extra things. The main part of this is adding in tsunamis. So we go back and look again at processes that cause tsunamis, what their effects are, and also how to manage them. The second section that we look at in contemporary themes is ecosystems. This involves looking at how valuable ecosystems are to us as human beings and how they're distributed across the planet. We look at the structure of ecosystems and how they work, including things like the carbon cycle. We then move on to looking at biodiversity and how it's under threat worldwide by human actions and how that could be conserved and changed. We focus on ecosystems also at a local scale as well as a global scale, generally focusing on looking at sand dunes or deciduous woodlands. The last section of ecosystems focuses on the Arctic tundra biome, how it is used and how it is being damaged by people. This leads on to look at sustainable use of the Arctic tundra biome and how this can be done to keep it safe for the future.
Final unit is coursework. This is worth 20% of the final mark, and it's an individual investigation. This is brilliant preparation for university. You collect the data yourselves with our support. We normally organise a couple of field trips in the summer term of year 12 to collect data. You can see on the screen here the variety of investigations we've had just over the last couple of years. So you present the results, you analyse your conclusions, and normally our students do extremely well. We normally get most students an A or a B. You can choose which subjects in geography you focus on for your coursework. We will support you with that. So I study geography. Geography is a facilitating subject. This means that it is really good at fitting in with lots of different subjects that you might choose to take at university. It's been identified as a facilitating subject by the Russell Group. It will count as an art or a science depending on what you apply on, which is why our A-level geography students go on to study such a diverse range of degree subjects. The skills you gain from A-level geography are brilliant preparation for university or the workplace. You understand a complexity of global issues, you can take part in a debate, but also you understand that this is a dynamic subject, it changes all the time.
Hi, I'm Isaac and I've wanted to do geography since probably open day for A-levels. So at open day I wasn't sure whether to do history or geography, so I looked at the curriculums for both and I was really fascinated by the geography one. I was really excited that oceans is on it as well. That's something that really interests me. Thankfully that decision paid off because I want to do a degree in geography at university. I'm really looking forward to studying it more, finding out more about geography in general. The favorite thing about geography at A-level probably has to be the way in which you can come in one day doing about a topic, go home and then come in the next day and something would have happened around the other side of the world to change that topic that you can now study. I just find that really interesting and I like how current it is.
I chose to do geography after studying at GCSE as well because I thought it would give me a good insight into how the world works, and it's also applicable to many university courses. My personal favourite part of the course is probably the hazard management and human effects of things like volcanoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis. Next year, I'm off to do fashion in University of Manchester. Geography was actually one of the subjects they required for the course because it's just good to know how the world works and stuff.
Learn more about the effects that we have on the planet and how the planet can impact the way we live our day-to-day lives. The geography course is especially interesting to me because it has a lot of field trips that you can go on, such as Cheshire Ice Cream Farm and Thurston Beach. Next year, I hope to study geology and physical geography at the University of Birmingham, or whichever one I can go to, hopefully.
I'm going to do geology at uni. But as the geography course went on, I realised that I really, really liked geography, and that's what I wanted to do. In September, I'll be going to uni to study geography, and after I graduate, I'd like to go into flood prevention and natural hazard management.
I'm going to go to the Heriot block to study quantity surveying, which is a heavily based geography course.
Hi, my name is Phoebe, and I chose geography at A-level because I really enjoy the human side. It also fit in very well with my other subjects, as essay writing and research methods are very transferable. I was also able to mention my geography coursework in my personal statement, which showed that I was able to conduct my own research, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't taken geography as a subject.
I'm Dr. Tom Holt, a lecturer in geography at Aberystwyth University in the west coast of Wales. 21 years ago, I was in a similar position to you. I was coming towards the end of my GCSEs and considering my options. Now, I chose to do A-levels at Bold Allen, and I studied history, mathematics, design technology, and geography. And geography was my favourite subject at the time, both at GCSE and then throughout A-levels. And the reason for that is because of the diversity within geography. You can be learning about social geography and how people interact with place, or you can be learning about the physical processes that operate on Earth. It's a very contemporary subject, and I challenge you later on to go to the BBC website or any news website of your choice and have a look at the range of headlines there. And I bet each and every one of those can be linked to geography in some way. There's a huge range of skills that come with geography as well, whether it be numeracy or literacy or data analysis or presentation, and having that general understanding of the world around you is really valuable in this day and age.
Our students go on to study a variety of courses at university. Those most directly linked with geography are on the screen now. So geography, planning, surveying, environmental management are the normal types of courses our students go to study. But of course, because it counts as an art or a science subject, we have quite a lot of students going to do science BScs or BA degrees. Results are very good in the department, as you can see there. If you've got any further questions, please contact us. Thank you.